adjusted that to 12. I think we went to 10 and then decided to push it to 12. Christina is in charge of catering. She's our catering coordinator. You have a business card there for Christina. One of her goals was to hit 12,000 so that we could buy a new menu planning software for the school. That's amazing. It'll help us streamline a lot and things will get done a lot faster. And they have a menu, we can put menus online and it's pretty cool. I worked with it when I was in Slinger. So we're gonna start working with that. So year to date so far, our catering is, our catering budget for sales is $13,674. And we have about 2 or 3 more events that we know of. It's working out that we end up getting 1 or 2 a week we don't know about. And those are a big surprise. So one of our biggest, I think, hurdles this year has been negative balances because we tweaked some of those numbers a little bit. So we've been working really hard on negative balances, but we still are, we have a list. Nicole, the new administrative assistant we hired, wanted me to just show you that there's a list that we're working. Yeah. There are a lot of pages. But she highlights who she's contacted and who she's emailed. She's been getting pretty good results the last couple of weeks, but it's been a little rough going there. But then I looked over the budget, and from what Ryan sent me through April, and then the claim I did today with our donated commodities, we're hoping and looking at probably a $19,000 profit for food service at the moment.
Yeah, with that, obviously having to increase staff, increase purchasing. Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And actually, we've saved a lot of money in purchasing. Not just, we're technically not buying through the co-op yet, but because of our connections with the co-op, I've met a lot of people, and when they have surplus in their commodity, they send out emails to the group, and we're able to buy commodity products at the commodity prices and not have to buy them through vendors. So, like pizza sticks that we serve every other week, we pay $1.09 for a case
instead of 13, like 13 or something per case from the vendor.
So,
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So last year we had to do a lot of wellness policy updates based upon the feds, the regulations that came our way. Is there more coming?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have a wellness policy committee. When does that work need to start to occur?
I thought they said 2020? I feel like you're saying.
Oh, big
But
time.
DPI is pushing it hard. During our review, that's what they hit on a lot with wellness policy. But they didn't really say what that entailed. There will be changes, but I don't think it's anything we're not going to be able to handle. It shouldn't be like that.
What are the different ways you could pay for the school lunches as far as, can you pay online as well? You can.
Yeah, there's an eFunds account online through Skyward, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
through your parent access that you
Okay.
have. You can go in and it'll say pay lunch account. There is
You
a
can also
fee to do it
monitor.
online.
Yeah. There is $1. I think it's $1
Dollar something.
Yeah.
There's change with it. I haven't done it in a while.
for the checking account.
Is that,
Yes.
is that used quite a bit or no?
I think more sending the envelopes is used the most still.
Because there's not a
There's not
fee
online.
to
There's
write
no
a
fee.
check and
There's not a
put it
big
in an
check.
envelope.
So could there be maybe a breakdown of envelopes arriving to the school, especially if it's cash or something? I'm talking from.
I could talk to Nicole, I'm sure she could set up a spreadsheet that shows what we're getting in envelopes daily.
Well, no, not so much that.
Oh.
Is there maybe a disconnect, parent gives child sent money?
Oh.
Doesn't make it to the school, so it's
Many
sure.
times.
a negative balance.
For sure, we get phone calls,
Okay.
yeah. So parents, we contact parents. At some
So the
point?
fee is from the person that we use, so they're gonna charge a fee, and the parents are probably trying to get out of the fee. Same thing as city charges a fee to pay the water bill,
Correct.
so it's a
Correct.
vendor that we're using.
It's cheaper to
that
send a
charges
check with
fee.
your child to school, right?
There's
Oh.
no way to circumvent that fee, or is there some type of thing to?
What we can do is we can research other companies for that service. We talked about it
Because
last
if it's
time.
$1 and
Yeah,
you're
I
putting
do.
$20 in, what's the?
There's gonna be a
total?
charge. It depends on what direction we're trying to get people to move. So a good
Mhm.
example would be, if we really want people to use that, and we're looking to say, no more cash, then we need to talk about, are we willing to pay those fees then if we take that option away from
That's
that,
the
you know?
questioning that I'm going to.
So-
Maybe at some point, we should start taking a look at, let's get rid of the cash business, which is gonna save you time, which is gonna save us money, but maybe we eat some of that money saved from handling, and we
We
go ahead and
piloted
pay for
that
that
this last fall,
cost.
just so you know.
So,
So for registration, so what happens is, we are either on or off. So during the month of August, when people were registering, they were paying for fees, I personally think it would be great if they were all online. Just keep it simple that way. Our registration's online, click this link, takes you here, now you pay the fee.
and you also
Thing
have
is,
to be,
it was
keep in
charging-
mind of
it
some
was-
families that don't have internet access. or
Correct,
something like
and then they
that
come
also.
on in and we'll take care of you, we'll help you
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
You know, so I think there's definitely, you're gonna have to make exceptions, period. So you
Sure.
want, if you could get the vast majority of people to be all online.
Then I
that would
think
make
that,
everybody's life
that
easier.
right there will, your negative balances in turn, I think would go away at that point, or a big portion of it, maybe.
Maybe. I think some of the families, so what I find is that, and families are afraid to apply for free and reduced, and many of them could probably qualify, but they're afraid of the stigma that's attached to it. So then they don't, and then they just keep going more and more and more and more and more negative, which isn't really helping anything if they apply. They don't want
Only have
people to.
30% right now on free and reduced.
No more.
We have, no, we're like 20.
I thought the numbers were more.
Well, the number, so when I was talking before, for breakfast, when we do breakfast numbers to figure out if we're a severe need breakfast, it's participation against, it's the number you serve against how many, it's not enrollment.
And it's interesting that you brought up the point
Free
of the
reduced
stigma.
against the pain.
Because I hear about the same stigma as people wanting to get mental health, even at the school where they don't want to be known as that person going into the office. So you bring up a very interesting point. And I
They're
don't
moving,
know.
so the next,
How do you get rid of that stigma
what?
and how do you
they're
go
moving to
about?
telemedicine for mental health. You'll
Well,
see a
part
lot
of
more
what
that
we've
happening.
done recently, and that comes into this slide, is just aside from the numbers, the employees have been doing a lot more training this year. I felt like the training was a little bit lacking, and we were able to participate in some kind of, DPI was here a couple weeks ago and had a training actually in our kitchen, which was really cool. The whole staff was able to come. And then Nicole and I went to a Skyward training because neither one of us are super familiar with Skyward. And we learned a lot there that we didn't know. So with, not at the high school level, but at Parkview and at the middle school, now we're now able to turn the screen off to show who's free and reduced. We didn't know how to do that in the past. So now when a child looks at the screen, they don't know their balance and they don't know if they're free or reduced. And no other child can find out if they're free or reduced, and they don't know if they have a negative balance. Where before, you looked at the screen and there was a big red negative whatever. You can't see that anymore. It's a little bit harder when you're running the register, because if a kid asks, am I free or reduced, you don't know the answer to that, but you're really not supposed to know the answer to that, so that's okay. And if they really want to know, we can find out for them. But it's just a way to get rid of that idea that you're free or reduced. And we've trained, one of our big trainings at the beginning of the year was just talking to the staff saying, we do not discuss lunch account balances with kids while other kids are around, and you do not discuss what kind of lunch account they have, whether they're free or reduced or paid. We just don't talk about it unless they ask separately and we're alone with them. Then, you know, we have a couple students that don't know they're free. So I had kids coming in for breakfast, but they didn't want a breakfast, they wanted milk. So I checked to see, and it turns out they're free. So they're paying 45 cents for a milk, but they could get an entire breakfast free. So we've steered some of those kids towards getting a breakfast, but it's just a process that we have to, it's just a slow process that we've been working on. Hopefully in time we'll get those applications. I think it's becoming a little bit more easily accessible, and I think people are willing to talk about it a little bit more. And I guess on that is we're gonna have this summer meals program this summer. We got approved for a summer meals program through the state. They reimburse us full, and every child under 18 can have free breakfast or lunch. So
And they don't have to be actually a student of the school district.
there's no paperwork. So basically what happens is we get a little chart, says breakfast, and we tick how many breakfasts we serve. We send that into the state and they reimburse us for that month, those number of breakfasts or lunches.
Is it breakfast, lunch?
Just breakfast and lunch.
Okay. I
We thought there was gonna
We
be a
thought it-
snack,
Yeah.
but then when I went to the training, we found out we couldn't do, you could do two, but you
I can
couldn't.
see that, because the snack's not really,
So you could do breakfast and a snack, or you could do lunch and a snack,
Well, you
you
can.
can't do breakfast and lunch and a snack. So we're gonna do breakfast and lunch, cause
So
those
do
are
you
the two
use a
things.
computer to fill out free and reduced, or is it turned in with hard paperwork?
The free and reduced are paperwork, they can do it online, not many people do.
Is there any chance that maybe we can get that out there as a link or something and something?
It's-
on the website.
That we put in once a year.
but,
No, I'm talking for before the start of the next year.
I think there's actually I'll have to look, but I think there's a link on the website.
yeah, there is.
Like-
I think that
But
people would
maybe,
be
maybe
just
let
pushing
the
it out.
families know that there is a link on the website, so, you know, you send.
Well, we're starting also through food service to just try and have a bigger Facebook presence. So we'll be able to, before the school year starts, we'll be able to push things out again. One of the big things with free and reduced is it's a year-long. So if you apply in August, you only have it till the following October. If you don't reapply, then you go back to normal status.
Now, what about there are some families that we get notification through direct
Direct
certification.
certification.
So what about those families? Is that an annual thing too?
Direct
Do they lose
certification,
it?
we can run as often as we want. If they're directly certified, they stay directly certified until the following year.
Yeah.
And then we run that report again, and chances are they'll come back up on there unless there's been a change in their income. And then that'll kick them out, but that doesn't mean they can't reapply online or through paper. So, there are a lot of different, and actually this year they started implementing, it's Medicare, right?
No, it's Medicaid.
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 Gets free or reduced based on that, which was not something we did before, so I think we ended up having maybe 30 to 50 more students that are free or reduced now. And we do cover reduced, breakfast is free. So if they're reduced, they still get a free breakfast, so that's a big thing. But so this summer meals program is gonna be big, and maybe it'll take that stigma away, I hope, a little bit, because everyone's gonna be free. It's not like this person, and there's no money, so it's not like they're looking at accounts saying I'm negative $20 or I'm negative $40. It's just free.
I appreciate it.
So that'll be cool. I've applied for 3 different grants this year. The dishwasher at Parkview is in pretty rough shape, and we need a new steamer down there. So we applied for a grant for both of those pieces of equipment. I heard this week that we will probably get one, but not both. And they asked me which one, so I picked the dishwasher because we really need a new dishwasher. And then the other 2 grants that we have are for the middle school and Parkview. DPI is sending a chef out to the schools to prepare meals for kids and teach them about how to make meals with fruits and vegetables. So I've applied for those 2 grants, and it looks like we'll probably be getting those. So there'll be a day when 3rd through 5th grade goes into the auditorium and they have this presentation by a chef. He makes them food and then they get to try it. And then the same thing will happen at Parkview. There is one other thing coming up this next year. The USDA has said that we do a PLE tool every year to raise our lunch prices. because the USDA wants our lunch prices to come a little more even with what they're giving us in reimbursements for those paid lunches. They've decided that you could file an exemption this year for next year, so that we wouldn't have to raise lunch prices. So I filed that exemption. In order to get the exemption, you had to be in have a positive balance in January 31st, which if you look in Skyward, like that just doesn't happen. So we were able to update everything to make us be positive because we technically are. So we should get that exemption. We won't have to raise lunch prices next year, which will be really nice because the high school is going to be pushing $3, and I think once we do that, that's going to be rough. And really, the place that probably needs that push is Parkview, and that would be, I think that would be hard on a lot of families down there. So I haven't heard back on that yet, just because there was a lot of discussion about it, and nobody really knew what was happening. They sent out emails saying that this was going to happen, and then they didn't have answers about.
But we made a
how
lot of
and why.
progress towards those fees. You know, every year,
Your lunch prices are, yeah.
we're getting closer. So, I mean, I would not think we have to make big jumps anymore.
No, I think their expectation for next year's lunch price is $2.92. The weighted average is $2.92, and last year was $2.86.
So
So
6 cents.
yeah,
Which nobody goes up by 6 cents though.
no, you,
Yeah.
but nobody goes up by a penny either.
Yeah.
They go to
Yeah.
the next 5-cent mark.
But at least, I mean, we're not talking, we've seen, over the last 8 years, I've seen having to raise by 25 cents, that kind of stuff.
Well, we might not have to do it all.
So, yeah, so what it is the federal government subsidizes, they actually, when they give us funds to support the food service program, they give us a dollar amount. That dollar amount is actually more than what our families pay. And what they're saying is, that's not equitable. We want the paid lunches from your families to be similar to what we are doing. And they've given us a big window of time, years, in order to catch up to it. So, I mean, I get it, it does make sense, for sure, but in the meantime, it's still money. But I will say, okay, so if we push over $3, where can you eat for $3 a healthy
You
meal?
can't.
And to go back to this, here,
Yeah,
am I going the wrong way?
Yeah.
Or I went the wrong way. That's catering, but see this right here, this section, that's what your lunch program looks like almost every day. You know, if you just showed pictures of your cart, or not the cart, but the service line, it looks like that.
mhm.
You can't make that for $3 at your
Mhm.
house and get those healthy.
Actually, we have
So-
construction workers now eating the lunch,
Yeah, see, right,
which we wanted.
yeah.
So Patty's down there like almost pulling them in, telling them they have to eat.
Well, that's great, otherwise they're going, I mean, they're giving local business, which
Right.
is great, but hey, why not eat
But
at
we
your
have,
business?
yeah, and they like the food. It's good food, so.
So the prices we charge for lunch, we have to charge them. Like,
Mhm.
it's if we were to go and say we're gonna chop 25 cents out, we would actually put all of that aid that we're talking about on the table, we would lose it. So I think you're just doing.
Well, and we definitely need a profit because we need equipment. The equipment in all the schools is really, really old. So, we need to start updating some stuff. We had work done on the dishwasher at the middle school. I think the bill was $1,600. But they said now it should last forever. I don't know what that means in the world of dishwashers, but it's probably 4 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the
So-
good news is you haven't come to me saying, oh my gosh, this equipment's falling apart, right? I mean, that really hasn't been a
We've just
big
been getting
part.
it fixed.
Yeah. Good job. In the dark. But the other part I was gonna say is, when you're running in the positive like that, you can start to chip away at it.
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Well, yeah.
The other part is, I mean, I have been part of districts where you need equipment and you're operating in the balance on an annual basis, if it is that we've gotta help support the equipment work. I will say it, I will help you, I would bring it to the board and make sure we're supporting it. So, but right now you're in a good
Rain
place.
in the dry storage.
Yeah, yeah.
Puddles.
That's the big one.
Yeah. well,
And we're
take
gonna,
it-
we're getting at that today.
Okay, so what Nikki just
We
said
got at
was,
that today.
okay, there's a
Did you?
leak.
We're
Yes.
gonna start,
Hey, right? Who brought it up? Me over here. I said, let's get that done right now. So we have a leak that we had, thought we did an intervention to, thought we had it fixed, and it made a difference. And it is located underneath the auditorium area. Well, that's the storage for food service, is what it is. So Nikki's comment was about the water coming in through the wall and
Well, no longer
causing-
comes in through the wall now, it just drips from the
Ceiling.
ceiling.
Yeah, because that did work. It did work. It just moved the water
Move it
across.
up.
And our 2 inches of
So
water.
I made it, me
Yeah.
personally, I said, hey, we need to address that. They said, you wanna wait till school's out? I said, no, we need to do it now. Okay, so
So
they're
last
coming
week, we
now.
walked into the back room, and your feet get wet, and then you open the freezer door and you step in the freezer and you get stuck. Cause your feet freeze to the floor.
Wow, it is
Oh,
literally
man,
been,
this frozen.
it's literally been since almost the
Kinda
day
fun.
that I started here now.
yeah, Dennis.
But we had a really good window of, we were okay.
It was okay, yeah.
So,
All school year, actually, until the snow mountain.
yeah, so we had a good year.
Yeah.
And now it just occurred again. So the great news is we have a construction crew that's there. And we don't have to pick up a phone and phone a friend. I mean, people there, they're coming. We talked about it today to make it a priority. So they were thinking that we could wait. I said, no, we're not waiting. So
Yeah.
there's rain coming again, you know.
Yeah, it's a cement wall.
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
They know what it is, the beams go down.
Yeah, they
18
also
inches
think they
from
figured out
the-
what it is.
And
Oh, they
it's
did.
just plaster
Success
next to the
story,
beam
so.
instead of being
Mhm.
cemented in. That's where it leaks it. Keeps going.
So that meeting was from 1 o'clock to
They
3
tried to
o'clock,
see
and I
if
went
it
from the
would-
meeting here until 4 o'clock. So
And now you're still talking to us.
It is work, but then
I think
water
what you're
just
doing is
goes out.
amazing. I'm just going
The
about
only
that.
other thing we had on there, other
It's
than
a
Cody,
16-foot wall.
is I gave you all copies of our Smarter Lunchroom
Yeah.
scorecards.
But
I just, actually, after I filled out those,
Dennis.
our policy says we have to do this Smarter Lunchroom scorecard yearly. This is the second time I've done it this year. And I think each school has gone up 3 or 4 points on that. You get awards based on what your score is, and on the back, I think where all the schools are silver. But you have to send it in the appropriate data to get awarded the silver for the scorecard. So I'd like to do that. They're getting rid of that program June 1st, or no, July 1st. So if we can get the documentation, which I think we have a lot of it, we can get awarded that scorecard silver. And then there's a US Healthier School Lunchroom program that you can get small amounts of money based on how you do. That's gonna end at the end of June too. So with this scorecard, we'll be able to piggyback on that US Healthier School Lunchroom and hopefully get just a little bit more money for some.
You know who runs this program?
That is it, no. I know that,
It's Cornell University in the back.
well, Cornell University did a study. And the study was based on how kids reacted to different things. And they found that many of these items helped increase healthier eating in the lunchroom. Since then, they found that they fudged the numbers on that study. So, it's not all evidence-based. There are a few things on there. I think on every one of the scorecards, one of the things I did not check off is giving food fun names and having like these weird like laser eye carrots or something. And I just think that's probably not necessary and maybe not the healthiest way to treat carrots. So that's probably one of the things we're not gonna.
Can I just say,
Parky would be the only
Offend
one
that
who would even
carrot.
find it cute.
Don't offend that carrot.
I think if kids want to eat healthy food, they should eat it because it's healthy food, not because it has some crazy nickname that makes them want to eat it or disguise a food as something that it's not. I think I saw something called master mashed potatoes or monster mashed potatoes, and I'm like, you're just mashed potatoes. Like, But one of their big things is renaming foods to make it sound fun.
It might work for Parkview.
Yes.
Well, the high schoolers just laugh at you. I mean, it just
They
doesn't
did
make
Friday.
sense.
You never know.
I know. Well, we did May the 4th be with you on Friday.
Oh, sure.
We had fun names, and I gave it to high school and, BB-8 beans.